Welcome everyone here to Excellency's Light League. I'm Necrox, yes, the guy you just saw on All Pro. Not normally here in Light League, I do play, but not cast all that often as my camera loses its mind. I'm joined by Camcom as well. We've got opposite jerseys. We've got the same idea in mind. It's classic, looking to push to make playoffs.
You've got your Team Liquid, I've got my Cloud9, and we get to watch some fun teams tonight fighting for their spot in playoffs. We do have CB Clockwork and Classic Esports for our Block 3 tonight. Classic Esports will be starting on blue side with CB Clockwork starting on red tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And these two teams, I mean, there's high stakes on the line for both of them. If you're Classic, of course, trying to push for playoffs, trying to prove to the rest of the league that you deserve a position in the upcoming bracket. If you are CB Clockwork, this is a team that started off really rough. Playing against them week one, things didn't look great, but they've made a complete turnaround. That's why you saw members like Dory K on the All-Pro team. And they are looking to further themselves up as well, making sure they keep their playoff spot. But for now, we will wait for draft to begin. As Camcom, I'm excited. These two teams, neck and neck. This series could go anywhere.
Absolutely, and both of these teams are still able to make playoffs. That is why we're here tonight. So Classic Esports, I do believe, does have to 3-0 to have that 100% chance to be in playoffs. But if they do 2-1, then they still have a chance to be in playoffs, but it just depends on another team going 0-3. So if they want to have that 100%, then they do need to 3-0 tonight.
Yeah, and it's going to come down to like small games here and there as my camera continues to lose its mind. I have no clue what's going on. Hopefully, we'll figure it out. I'm getting attacked by some sort of void monster. Yes. But regardless, I think we dive into a little bit of the players here. We can talk about individuals. I got a message from Dory K that may have some stakes on the line about positioning the likes of CB Clockwork. But honestly, I'm looking at Dory K and Turtle to hopefully really push CB Clockwork across the finish line tonight.
And we did get to see it, Dory K. He was up there on Team 2. He could have almost been Team 1 as well. So definitely is going to be one of those stronger supports that we do get to see playing tonight.
Hopefully, I'm going to get my camera fixed here in just a second. I do apologize as, again, being attacked by something outside of my control. So waiting on draft to begin. But while we do, let's talk about the other side of this coin. I'm more so interested, honestly, in what Classic have to bring. I think they're more of an unknown quantity in Light League. There's really a lot of question marks about what they do on a daily basis, the ins and out of their League of Legends games. And with members on the Classic roster that aren't, you know, the strongest members we've seen all season. Bleeding Wolves, obviously really good in the top lane. Three's Mark is on and off, in my opinion, in his play. But both of them have potential to shine. It's just about, are they going to hit the peak tonight, or are they going to hit the valley?
Looking at your camera, I'm sorry.
I don't even know what's going on. It's just dead.
It
doesn't want to work anymore.
I guess I will just be here alone. Hello, everyone. Oh, we're into draft now. Okay, starting on to our first bans. What do you expect, since you know these players a little better than I do, what do you expect are these high priority picks that they're most likely either going to be banning away or picking on super early?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things, honestly, that these two teams could prioritize. I think AD carry matchup's going to be pretty important tonight, so definitely look for that in the early stages of the game, especially for Classic. Three's Mark is one of their star players. Top lane as well probably should get later in the rotations. But if we're talking about B1, things like that, I would honestly just expect power from Classic. They could grab anything that is pretty powerful in the meta. Outside of that, though, bans coming through. Ivern taken away. That's Comfort. Hey, I'm back. I'm alive. You can see Team Liquid jersey. I'm still living. Urgot as well taken away from Bleeding Wolves. That is one of his better top laners. As I'm hoping there's something in Dory's sleeve that can outplay Three's Mark this game. That's honestly my main focus.
Support. Usually, to me, that would scream something like a hook champion, but if you wanted to go spicy, you could go for one of those more AP style support carries, as I do believe that they have risen a lot in the meta with the recent buffs to all mage items, them being 200 gold cheaper. Does mean that they are 200 gold cheaper for supports as well, which does, you can get them before 15 minutes now on a support, which is pretty broken. And I'm not quite sure what that second ban is from Classic Esports. Right. Okay, it is going to be a Volibear second ban from Classic Esports because, I don't know, maybe it timed out.
Yeah, I mean, understandable, right? Volibear can be played in the jungle, probably better in the jungle in most cases, but of course can be flexed towards the top lane as well if you do get a good matchup. So sure, Jin Zhao is probably the highest priority jungler right now. To be honest, there's not a lot of junglers that can keep up. Rumble with the recent nerfs isn't even, in my opinion, as high priority. LeBlanc actually taken away. That's pretty crazy. You could see that coming in R3 for Clockwork, but yeah, I mean, I guess if you don't want to have to deal with it, don't want to have to deal with the mobility, go ahead and take it away. Lulu, as well, pretty high ability to impact the 2v2 and later game team fight. So if you're looking to outplay for CB Clockwork in the bot lane, that would be a good champion to take off the board. Polymorph, pretty damn annoying if you are trying to go for the all-in, for Tristana maybe, for threes mark. But Classic, with the first pick, the highest priority, what do they draft? I'm hoping it's actually something with some value.
I mean, usually something like an Ezreal or Seraphine. That is quite the classic V1, actually, as she does have that sort of triple flex with that being that mid ADC bot. Probably is going to be more leaning towards one of the bot lane positions just because of how strong she is with that poke and that support. And again, she can also build one of those AP items if she doesn't even need to build a Moonstone.
Yeah, also Shirelia's is a pretty good option for this Seraphine as well. Recently nerfed this, so we'll have to wait to see what itemization. Casters will be in charge of keeping their eyes on that one. I fully expect Dunzi and his little e-girl champion pool supports to figure out what we're gonna do there. Jinx
pool.
Nocturne.
Don't be making fun of it.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying Dunzi's a diamond one Yumi one trick, and that's all he knows how to play. Jinx though, threes mark. Not going to be on the board. Oh, please. Yes, it is Draven time. We saw the memes all throughout Light League. Just throwing sticks. This is throwing axes, basically the same thing. Paired up with the Seraphine as well, you actually get a lot of all-in potential. This is pretty good for Classic. I like what I'm seeing, and they're going for 2v2 Kingdom.
I do love to see a Draven, and a Draven as well into Jinx is going to have such a strong laning phase, because Jinx, pre-level 6, not really going to do anything. Level 6 to 11, a little bit stronger, but she does need that 2 or even 3 item power spec just to start doing stuff. And then that Viego as well is typically one of those super early picks as well, just because of his flex with the Nocturne. Is a very strong pick, and if he is able to get any one of those resets in a fight, he can easily 1v9.
Yeah, and with the recent nerfs to the Q healing on minions as well, probably just going to be headed towards the jungle. Nocturne, solo lane, pretty strong. Hit level 6, can really start impacting the map. Top lane is most likely the position, unless you want to have to do something else. But with R5 still online for your mid lane, seems like CB Clockwork we're just going to index in a solo lane, top lane blind pick anyway. So that's their selection. Going to try to match the Skarner with the Viego. Does good into max HP. The thing is, you're just going to get suppressed, and you're going to need a QSS if you want a reset. If you don't want to just get one popped, you're going to need a QSS on your Viego. Nocturne as well is pretty difficult to sort of maneuver into a Skarner because of how quickly he can access you through the spell shield. So we'll see. Second phase of bans though, Cho'Gath, Mordekaiser are very tanky options taken away, along with a Fizz and Silas. Again, R5 AP champs taken off the board.
I'm sure how that Nocturne is going to have to play into that Skarner, just because, like you're saying, he does have to save that spell shield for the Skarner ult, and if he doesn't, then he's going to have to also buy that QSS tax. And a Morgana on R5 or R4 even could be interesting, as she's just another one of those flex picks, which is basically the name of this patch. And Karma also about to be nerfed, but still very, very strong, especially in that supportive position, if she is, assuming she's going support with the Jinx.
I actually really like the Morgana into the Skarner. The Black Shield does a lot of work, not only against the Seraphine ulti, but especially into the Impale. It's very linear, right? He's just going to flash you. He's going to run at you with Turbo Chem Tank. Very predictable to Spell Shield. Karma can help you get away from it with the extra mobility. The Mantra E sort of helps guide your team in the right direction. Not as obvious as the Spell Shield, but regardless, Karma's in. Goes pretty well with the Jinx. A lot of poke, a lot of ability to bully in the 2v2. Set as well with the Seraphine, with the Skarner. This composition is the most bruiser, just run at you, I will out-sustain you in team fight composition from Classic. They just want to fight and fight all the time. Question is, do they grab something for the mid lane that is counterable? Ziggs is counterable, not super hard to counter, but if you don't play into this champion correctly, can get really frustrating. The ultimate clearing out side waves, the lane poke as soon as the tier comes in, basically infinite Q ability to just really harass you in lane. Clockwork now with this R5 pick need to figure out what their game plan is.
If I'm wrong here, but I actually think Nocturne is a really strong pick into Ziggs just because he's like the #1 mage counter and you can never split against a Nocturne, which is usually what Ziggs like to do, is they like to be on another side of the map and then they can throw their ult to wherever the team fight happens to be. But then the R5 Gnar as well also screams a lot of disengage for me from the side of CB Clockwork, just because of how I'm assuming Karma is going to be building that Shirelia's in this game, just because of how strong it is on the Nocturne, on the Viego, even the Gnar a little bit as well, and being able to use that Shirelia's with the Mantra E to get away from any Skarner ults and maybe not have to pay that QSX tax could be very strong for them.
I'm going to be honest, I think CB Clockwork's draft is slightly all over the place. Yes, it's an all-in composition, but you also have a Jinx that's going to be left alone, can't really deal DPS in the backline. The Karma is going to have to aid the Jinx in positioning. And as soon as your Gnar goes Mega, he's getting dunked right back out, if not the Nocturne as well. So things just got really spicy for Classic. They just saw 3 targets and like, okay, all these are really good ulti targets for the set. The Showstopper brings them straight back out of the fight. And I'm gonna disagree slightly with the Ziggs point. I think Ziggs is really good at joining a team fight and clearing out sideways with the ulti. He can, though, if he does take TP, you know, be up in the top lane, ult down, and then follow that up with the teleport. So you're absolutely right about that. I don't know if you want the Nocturne into Ziggs. You're going to have to gank. You're going to have to do something, or else you're just going to get outranged. You're just going to get out-farmed. You're going to get out-harassed. And if Nocturne doesn't have wave priority, if he doesn't have push, as soon as he gets level 6, the value from the paranoia begins to fall out. You're not as effective as a Ziggs as taking down turrets, impacting fights with the ulti even from the Ziggs can be useful. So I like Classic and what they've built here. CB Clockwork, though, have they swapped? Let me check if they have swapped their bot lane. It is Dory K on the AD carry position. I think they're swapping it up. Dory's playing AD.
Dory AD, does that mean Dory's going to be on the Jinx this game instead of the Karma?
I think so.
Or are they switching that too? Okay.
And I'm not sure. Dory, let's see your APM, man. Let's see how many times you can right-click in a team fight. Honestly, if he pops off, I'll eat my heart out. He can take my #1 trophy with him. If he pops off, go for it, man. But I'm not sure that I'm sold.
I mean, yeah, I'm definitely going to agree with you. I think Classic Esports comp does just make a lot more sense. It is that classic run at you, we're going to win every team fight if we get any kills on our Draven. And this comp is definitely going to be able to get a lot of kills on their Draven if they do use that Skarner ult. And even a set ult as well, just ulting someone in with set into Skarner ulting, pulling them even further. It's just, once you get a pick on someone, they're going to be so far away from their team that they're not even going to be able to look back at them. So if they are able to get these kills on these Draven, that's definitely going to be huge in this later game with this super easily executable team comp. Whereas CB Clockwork, on the other side, I do think if they do get kills on this Jinx and this Viego especially, then it's going to be very hard to be running into them.
Yeah, and I think more importantly than getting kills on your Viego in the early game, pretty hard to gank champions like a Ziggs. Satchel keeps them pretty safe. Throw down the bombs as well to disengage. Set could be an option. Of course, you're asking to get 1v2'd if you go up there. But Viego in fights, you said this before, resets are so freaking important for this champion. Might as well not pick him if you're not planning on focusing the right target. And the one thing I really like about CB Clockwork is they could just pick a target and immediately blow them up. Gnar CC, Nocturne ulti, Jinx rocket as well. If you layer everything correctly, Clockwork get a reset. The question is, who do they get the reset on? Skarner? Not super useful. If you get it on set though, that is massive. You get all those critical cooldowns, you get the clap back with a face breaker, you get the haymaker as well, plus the grit. Could swing a fight in its entirety, but with the Seraphine behind you, I'm not sure that you get to do that quite easily. Ziggs as well, so want to pull back though before we get into the game, before things get a little too chaotic and Sulpan and Dunzi bring us out onto the Rift. Cam, let's do it. We got to bring in predictions. Based purely off draft. Big picture, I'm gonna go... Man, this one's rough. I'll go CB Clockwork just because of the Dory K jinx. I think he's gonna show us something that I haven't seen, but maybe Classic just shut him down with the Draven within like 8 minutes.
Oh man, I kind of want to agree with you for CB Clockwork purely because they have the season 11 Viego, and I don't think I'm yet to see Viego not pop off in a competitive environment. It's just a Viego. He's like perma-banned, he's perma-picked, and then he perma-wins. I don't understand this champion, man. So I'm gonna have to go with CB Clockwork here.
Actually, they just swapped left with 20 seconds left. Viego and Nocturne swapped roles, so this completely changes the identity of their composition. Now you have a jungler who doesn't really want to intervene too much in the early game. Nocturne can skirmish, probably not as well with his Karn though, especially if you're on this Scryer. So Viego gonna get harassed out, gonna have to take MR, gonna have to probably take a D shield into this matchup. Probably even worse for CB Clockwork. Not sure that it makes all too much of a difference, but definitely alters your identity in the mid lane. Now you're looking at post 6, head bot lane, head mid lane, really just leave Gnar on the island. Classic though, it's Threesmark. This is the guy you want to look at. You want to look at the AD carry, and you want to look at him. He's got snubbed out of first spot maybe, and he's looking to make a name for himself on the Draven. If he can get onto Dory K and they can win this 2v2, it could be a bot snowball made from heaven.
Absolutely. It's gonna be in the hands of these ADCs here. Either one of them, whether it's the Dory on the Jinx or just the Draven itself here, either one of them could absolutely just snowball their team into the late game as so fast as both of these, once they hit level 6, that level 2 or the level 6 2v2 between both of the enchanters and both of these super strong ADCs is certainly going to be one to watch in this bot lane, as that could definitely decide the game super early on.
All right, with our final week in Light League, I've been Necrox, joined by Camcom. Thank you all for listening to our wonderful analysis. Now we're going to throw it to Dunsey and Sulpan on the Rift, ready to bring you the action in Week 9. Threesmark looking to prove that he is the first tier AD carry, and Dory K looking to prove he's an AD carry at all. We'll be right back after a short break.
And welcome back. We're getting onto the Rift here. Just Classic Esports versus CB Clockwork. Classic Esports, of course, needing the 3-0 here to guarantee their position in playoffs. Need to make every single one of these games count. And this composition going to rely so heavily here around Threesmark to do the damage. Dory, what do you think? Or sorry, Dunsey, what are you thinking here?
Dory, Sulpan.
I didn't mean to do it.
I am not Zephyr, man. I know he got your name wrong. All splits. That's okay, man. Sulpan, does it get any better than this? This is Week 9. We're in the final week of Light League. Playoffs are on the line for these two teams. I am excited, my man.
Yeah, I mean, super exciting stuff here. Again, I think it's just really going to come down to, can they make this composition work? Classic Esports needs to slow it down, need to play slow, get this Skarner to level 6, and really play around this Draven, but nerves are high here. I mean, it's playoffs on the line. Are they going to make it or are they not? And it's all going to come down to whether or not they can get this at least 2-1, if not the 3-0, over CB Clockwork, who, you know, they've got Dory K, legendary support main, who has flexed over to ADC just this once.
Yeah, I know. It's truly an enigma. I am very surprised by this switch. I hope it works out for Clockwork. Dory K, he's done so well. He's grown so much as a support over these first 8 weeks. To see him switch over to AD carry, I will say I am a little bit disappointed, but maybe things have been going well in scrims. Maybe things have been going well in solo queue for this swap. They felt like they needed to change something. They are against one of the best AD carries in the league, but Forgotten Turtle already with some poke. Want to put the pressure down in this heavy poke Karma lane.
Getting this down early is going to be really good. You know, Draven's axes, of course, always giving you that predictive ability to snipe out where he's going to walk. The Karma is going to be so good at abusing that with these mantra Qs. Might even be able to, you know, force out a few axes, make him drop 1 or 2, and take the poke as well as we continue forward here.
Yeah, we'll see if Abalama can find the sustain needed to keep Threesmark up from the poke, but they both hit level 2 here. Nothing crazy yet. The double root gonna miss. And as soon as, I mean, here they come. As soon as this happens, man, it's gonna get explosive in the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect really anyone to go crazy here in the, you know, just because everyone's playing it slow, playoffs are on the line. But also, if you're Nocturne or Skarner here, you're kind of happy to just intently sit back, farm up. Unless someone's like really overextended, I wouldn't really expect to see either of these junglers go for anything pre-6.
Yeah, and once they hit 6, that Impale, that Paranoia, they have 280 carries that both of these junglers love to dive upon. Both immobile, not a lot of strong peel between Seraphine and Karma. It's not like a Lulu or a Janna to knock them back or anything. So we'll see what these 80 carries can do against those very powerful ganking ultimates coming out here. You're right, they're definitely going to be looking for that level 6 spike. I think right now Anderson Cooper is going to have the first kind of path to this scuttle. You see the pressure from the top lane mounting for triple Q, but here comes the double root.
Ooh, Exhaust gonna go down here in this bottom lane, wanting to keep this fight forward. Threesmark also getting exhausted himself. Should be the end of this trade. It's a mana-less Seraphine. Might just look to continue this one as he throws out the Mantra Q, but the slow's not good enough to get him out.
Oh.
Threesmark gonna find the last auto. That's first blood going to Draven. That is not what you want here if you are on the side of CB Clockwork, but as a perfect first blood here is cashing on some stacks, moving towards that win condition. That is a Draven getting further and further ahead.
Yeah, and all the summoners were expended on the side of CB Clockwork as well. It was nice from Dory K to make Threesmark force his heal out. So at the last second, he was able to turn that. But oh my, that is exactly what Classic needed on a Draven player, no less. He needs to snowball, and he's got that first gold sack. Gonna be a longsword plus a dagger against the Jinx lane, and Threesmark, number 2 for a reason, but here comes a gank.
Fortil gonna burn the flash. Innocent Cooper looking to follow this one. Has got the fear. Should be able to connect this one and pick this one up fairly easily. That's a dead Ziggs.
There he goes. Nice retaliation gank from Anderson Cooper. He's first all-pro for a reason as well. Nice pathing there, kind of just snuck his way in, and I love the follow flash, knowing that the satchel was misused by Quartz Hill. Here comes another gank from Anderson Cooper.
He's gonna walk straight top lane, see what we can do here on the Bleeding Wolves. Should have the tankiness to be able to walk away from this one. Might just be able to do it. Gonna get feared back towards the team triple Q. Gonna land the wall up here, gonna find the stun. Good Haymaker to keep him tanky and reasonably healthy here in the top lane, so not much coming out of that one. No summoners burn, but definitely losing a little bit of that pressure he had up on that wave.
Yeah, let's take a look at this first, or not the first, but the second kill in that mid lane here coming up. You can see Anderson Cooper, his pathing just so well right now. Ziggs has no idea. He has the sweeper to keep himself safe, unknown, and just too far pushed up. So he's able to just force the summoner out, and a nice follow flash like we mentioned earlier. The satchel already used in the wrong spot, so Anderson Cooper just able to pick that up very clean by him.
Yeah, good luck walking away when you got the red buff on top of you and you're a flashless Ziggs with no mana. I don't think really had a path to escape from that one. Good recognition by Anderson Cooper. Is Flaydon gonna flash forward and throw out the Impale? I mean, I think even if he had level 6, this wouldn't necessarily have been a great kick to go for. Just a little bit overzealous there in the bottom lane, wanting to make something happen, trying to find retaliation against Anderson Cooper, but won't find anything.
Yeah, I do want to mention, I'm just going to skip right past that flash from Flaydon, that gank in the top lane from Anderson Cooper, Bleeding Wolves actually played that so well. A lot of times, people kind of panic when they're about to get CC'd, so Bleeding Wolves saw the wallop coming down on him as they take a one-on-one.
Just have the kill here, going to force the flash out, has the showstopper, but doesn't want to follow this one forward. Triple Q, the great flash can be able to escape from this one.
Yeah, I don't like the followed flash there, but the wallop hitting him in that previous gank. Oh!
Mega Inferno Bomb from the Ziggs. A hard read on the recall location. You'll find the kill. And that's Quartz Hill cleaning it up.
That was, oh my goodness. The Zig buffs are nutty. Okay, Bleeding Wolves. He had a super nice Haymaker in response while he was being CC'd. You always want to make sure that you utilize some sort of it's almost like you are, oh my goodness, what's the word? Where
your buffering abilities to just avoid the CC.
Yeah, Riven players do it all the time. Your ability, oh my goodness, animation canceling. My brain is not working today. Yeah, so that's essentially what he's doing. He's using that time, that buffer from the Haymaker, to kind of negate the CC from the wall. So well played from Bleeding Wolves there.
Continuing action when you, in theory, should not be able to take any action. So
right.
When the champions, when the matchups, that teleport top lane for Bleeding Wolves are looking to get onto triple Q here. Not sure, he has just now used the hop, no flash up here, but it's no Impale from the Skarner available to find any kind of stun or connect. He's gonna be able to walk out of this one. Triple Q feeling fairly happy here in top lane. As Paranoia gets popped here onto the mid lane, Ziggs gonna be able to satchel charge away from this one. That is Paranoia burn. When you Nocturne not taking much action on the map here for the next minute and a half.
Yeah, nice pressure though. What that means is with Quartz Hill low on mana and pushed into his lane, they see Flaydon in the top lane. This should be a free Drake. He has Smite available. Level 6, gonna be able to, okay, a late Smite, but he'll take it. That's gonna be the first Drake over for CB Clockwork. And although they are 1,000 gold behind, they do have some tempo right now.
And Quartz Hill in a little bit of danger here as well. Doesn't want to get too low against this execution from Booty Bang and Billy. Yeah. A-okay in the mid lane, just at least for now. But like you said, pressure being put down here onto the Ziggs. That's still flashless in the mid lane. Could opt for the dive at some point if they manage to find the right timing, but looks like they opt to get back, move towards their towers, and happy to pick up a dragon really off the back of some pressure being burned top lane from Flaydon.
And the fact that Booty Bang and Billy is keeping up in farm. Actually, he's a CS up right now, despite not even having based yet. It's actually really, really good for the Viego lane. You have this ranged matchup. You're going to get poked out. That's really thanks to Anderson Cooper. That first gank, making sure that he comes back with the paranoia, has made sure that his mid lane can stay afloat through this early game.
Speak of paranoia, we got Anderson Cooper path the top lane once again. Bleeding Wolf still... Or no, actually, no flash this time. He tried to burn it on the chase on Triple Key. Gonna showstopper backwards with the Nocturne, pulling him back underneath the tower. Now still has the ability to pull him in, but nope, not gonna burn it. Just gonna be doing some damage, popping the shield, able to walk away relatively healthy once again.
Yeah, Bleeding Wolves play that really well. I think Anderson Cooper had a long window actually to spell shield it. Wasn't anticipating the showstopper, but nicely played by Bleeding Wolves to get out of there without even having his flash up. But here comes a fight.
What a root, and what a follow-up here from Threes Mark. Finds the damage, he's got the heals there, sustained up from the Seraphine there in the bottom lane. Gonna be A-okay, finds the kill. What a great setup, all off the back of that root. Abilama kind of find a great setup there for Threes Mark in the bottom lane. Props to finding the shots there. Dory Kane, Forgotten Turtle, feeling a little worse for wear here, bot.
Yeah, that is not what you want to see. Threes Mark, the giant carry. I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? Classic Esports, their side lanes are so incredibly strong. Bleeding Wolves playing super well.
Paranoid top lane, and this might finally be it. Will find a Haymaker to survive for now. Can he do it? No. Forcing out the flash from Anderson Cooper, though, with that showstopper, with that facebreaker, so not too bad there in top lane. That's, I mean, that the third Genki is drawing so much pressure up here and just keeping it away from Threes Mark, so he can't be too upset about that, but it will ultimately fall, and that's a kill going over to Anderson Cooper.
Yeah, I completely caster cursed him there just talking about how well he's playing, and but he has absorbed a ton of pressure. Even the Gnar almost fell there. He had to hop backwards out of that gank, but Anderson Cooper, we have to give him props. He is just making it happen in all three, or I guess in his solo lanes. He hasn't really paid much attention to bottom, and that's going to be a problem because Draven is so massive right now, making his way towards the shield bow. He has a Vamp Scepter up right now on Jinx, 2 kills, of course, as well. And Abby didn't even have to use the Encore in that last kerfuffle. Once that is dropped, it's almost a guaranteed kill for whoever is rooted up from the Seraphine. Threes Mark just doing way too much damage right now between the 2 squishies in the bot lane for them to retaliate at all, even through exhaust.
And man, everyone must have gotten the memo here on poke lanes. We got a Vamp Scepter top lane against the Gnar, a Vamp Scepter in mid lane against the Ziggs, and a Vamp Scepter on Draven against the Karma Jinx. So everyone wants to play into the sustain. It's a potential gank setup here for Flaydon, looking for triple key here. Should find the Sting, pulling him back, but doesn't actually flip him around, and there's just no follow-up here from Bleeding Wolves. Probably miscommunication. Anderson Cooper now following up onto this fight. We'll find the fear on the Bleeding Wolves, and it's just a really wacky 2v2 from this top lane duo. They will showstopper, pulling him back, but Anderson Cooper is just too dang tanky. Gonna find the Gnar into the wall. That is a misplayed 2v2 if I've ever seen one there in the top lane, and Threes Mark gonna try and find some redemption here, flashing forward to find it with the Draven. Encore also going to land. It's a double kill in bottom lane for this duo, but Booty Bang and Billy has found the teleport in. Can he find the damage here on the Threes Mark? Trying to dodge out. Actually going to dodge away from the Heartbreaker. Booty Bang and Billy can't find the damage. Flashing forward, but ultimately finds his death. And it's Threes Mark drawing all of the pressure here in the bottom lane.
And what's Quartz Hill doing in the mid lane? He's going to be able to do so much damage. That's 2 plates in the mid. That's going to be 2 plates in the bot lane. Let's take a look at that top side gank, though, from Anderson Cooper earlier. Here he comes. I mean, this is just, like you said, Sulp, miscommunication. Flaydon already used Impale, and now Bleeding Wolves feels kind of compelled to follow up. They don't even have their mid laner available. You can see Booty Bang and Billy's up here just in case anything else happens. But complete miscommunication between the top jungle duel.
Going top, gonna force the flash. Gonna be able to walk away, though. escaping the chains there on the Fear, but it's like gonna be a Herald pop top, and with only 2 plates remaining on this tower, they just might be able to take this one if they can find just a few more auto attacks. No support coming topside. They got oh man, I'm forgetting the name of the, we're all brain farting today. I can't remember the name of the rune that lets you do that. Demolish on the tower. That'll find top lane turret, plates going over, Rift Herald going down. It's gonna be a Dragon Ocean here in the bottom lane as retaliation.
Yeah, I mean, just like CB Clockwork did earlier, Classic Esports will have a nice retaliation play of their own. So both teams taking advantage of the junglers going to the top lane. Obviously, CB Clockwork did a little bit better because they got the tower for it. So it's a true trade, whereas earlier you lost the kill, and then you didn't get anything on the side of Flaydon's jungle gank top lane. And CB Clockwork, oh no! CB Clockwork were able to pick up that dragon. Quartz Hill goes gold and must have been trying to, I don't even know, he shouldn't be popping a pot because he's full health, so. But here comes a 4v2 in the bot lane.
Yeah, this is really dangerous here for 3's Mark. We've seen him outplay quite a bit today. Gonna go dive in for the kill. Not gonna find it through, but actually will. The exhaust is not enough to stop 3's Mark. He's continuing forward. We'll find a double kill under tower. They dedicated too much to Seraphine, and they will pay the price as he finds a double kill underneath the tower.
How absolutely ridiculous is that? Oh my goodness. I mean, 3's Mark gave up a shutdown, sure, but all 5 members, Booty Bang and Billy, was halfway to the bottom lane, came down just to secure that kill. The guy is massive, and now Abby has a nice flank angle on Triple Q.
And might just look for something here. Triple Q, almost mega though. Probably not gonna be too much of a target. Happy to walk away from this one. Bleeding Wolves, it's got a massive wave in a tower, and there's just no one picking this up. That's gonna get a huge wave denied here for the Gnar.
Yeah, I think across the map, Classic have a little bit better of a stranglehold on it, but Anderson Cooper right now is just playing out of his mind. Flaydon made a little bit of a mistake, kind of misstepped here, so the jungle matchup is going the way of CB Clockwork, which is keeping them afloat right now. Anderson Cooper kind of single-handedly keeping this gold semi-close for Clockwork. Classic Esports, if it wasn't for Anderson Cooper, they'd be running away with this game right now.
And I've got to say, I think that was some really good awareness there from Bleeding Wolves, actually just walking away right as the paranoia comes up. Gonna deny the ability for them to close in on another top lane kill. Just, I mean, it really looks like that Classic just wants, or sorry, CB Clockwork wants to play on this top side. They keep forcing ganks top, forcing Bleeding Wolves to constantly back off, but they're just not really finding as much as 3's Mark is solo there in bot lane.
I mean, what can you do? If you're Anderson Cooper, you have a 200 gold shutdown on you. You're 3-0. You're saying, what the heck? I should be so much more ahead right now. Look at your bot lane. They're combined 0-6. It is not working out against the number 2 all-pro AD carry. 3's Mark, just too much. Abby keeping him safe, keeping the enemy team CC'd. They're just too strong in the bot lane now. And of course, they're moving mid here, but here comes Paranoia.
Yeah, here it is. That satchel charge won't really help you too much. And look at the tower dive. He's just too tanky. Gonna take you out. Anderson Cooper knows the limits of this champion, but might have just overstayed and overstepped now. Flaydon flashing forward onto this one. Gonna pull him back straight into Bleeding Wolves. They should be able to find the kill. Shutdown going over to the Skarner.
Oh no.
Not the usual target you want for that one, but ultimately they find the kill, and that much is good.
Yeah, they get Forgotten Turtle too, though.
Yeah, continuing forward here. It's Forgotten Turtle just in the wrong place, wrong time, as 3 members chasing all forward, but find the slow off the back of the Impale. And an encore to clean it up. Flaydon picking up another one. Skarner picked up all these kills of 3's Mark, looking to get some harassment down here in mid lane. They got 4 members strong now here. Just look to take down this tower. No plates available, and it's about a quarter HP.
Yeah, Forgotten Turtle just kind of in no man's land, getting caught there, trying to help out Anderson Cooper, who, like you said, just bit off more than he could chew on that Paranoia gank. Quartz Hill, if he had gotten his Mega Inferno Bomb off in time, I think he would have been able to pick up that kill anyway. But nice flashes coming out. It forced Anderson Cooper's flash. Flaydon knew that. It was communicated to him, and he was able to follow up. Tried to give the kill over to Bleeding Wolves. At least he gave him an assist. But now the Skarner's feeling a little bit big after a shutdown and an extra kill.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I want to point out now is that just everyone in this game needs to be careful. We saw it just happen just now. Anderson Cooper taking out Quartz Hill there in the bottom lane. But when Paranoia is available and Nocturne's ahead and he's got this Stride Breaker, you can't really play too far up in his side lane. You're going to get ganked, and it's actually going to just... Oh, almost Booty Bang Billy finding the satchel charge forward, but Quartz Hill able to escape for now. But like I was saying, if you're playing against this Nocturne, you're playing a side lane, you try and split push and just get any wave past the halfway mark, you're going to get paranoid, you're going to get taken out. You have to play very carefully, communicate where Nocturne is, and then get deep vision in the enemy jungle. And right now, I don't think they have any of that.
Yeah, and conversely, Turbo Kim Tank is finished for Flaydon, which means that you have to play safe if you're CB Clockwork as well, because a Skarner, a flying Scorpion, is going to be coming right at you with top speed, trying to drag you back into all of Classic Esports. Both junglers, they do have that ultimate available. Impale is, yeah, it's just about up. So it'll be a contest for this next Drake. It is up in 9 seconds, that Mountain Drake. So we'll see which team is able to get the advantage. There are pings going down onto Herald for Classic Esports instead. Maybe they're not feeling the Drake fight right now. But you do see Bleeding Wolves making his way down. It'll be a 5v5, Sulpin.
Yeah, the biggest thing here is that the Ziggs is not over here by these chokesies instead in the side lane. So you normally want the Ziggs to be able to use these tools he has for that zoning potential and just getting some poke down, but not quite in the right position just yet. Just now rotating over, but he needs to be careful. He walks across that pink board. He's going to get paranoid and just jumped on.
And Classic have the vision control. They have the Skarner buff as well. Ziggs in the side lane still. Maybe they can pinch. Forgotten Turtle stepping up pretty far just for a little bit of poke. And if at this point, if you're Karma, you do not use your mantra on your Inner Flame anymore. You need to save that for your Inspire, that massive shield for the full team. But Classic Esports are split.
Paranoid is straight on and going on to 3's mark here. Gonna meet the target, but able to find the disengage with that stand aside. Triple community forward. Great flash into the wall. Will find 3's mark. Encore not gonna be enough to save them. Now they're continuing the fight here. Super Megan Fernando Bomb gonna find some damage. Bleeding Wolves will pick up one. And they're gonna now actually turn this one around, looking for the chase here as Quartz Hill has joined the fight. Triple Q on the side getting chased up by Flaydon, but they can't find the slows or the CC. On the top side, it's going to be a full disengage here as Booty Bang and Billy was not able to join that fight in time. It's actually going to be Quartz Hill on the rotation, beating out the Viego to that fight and really turning it around here for Classic Esports.
Yeah, using the range on that semi-global ultimate to perfection. He had that Mega Infernal Bomb land on, I think, 3 members, and both teams know exactly who the target is on the opposing team. Anderson Cooper being the target for Classic, they know that he's the massive fed one, and here comes 3's mark, just instantly flashed upon. Let's take a look at that fight again. I mean, check it out. 3's mark just stepping up a little bit too far. And, I mean, just so well played by Triple Q to start that engage off. But look where Viego is trailing behind. Mega Inferno Bomb already used. And Booty Bang and Billy's just nowhere to be seen. So effectively, a 5v4 fight turns into that Drake for Classic Esports. Well played by them. They're going to go back now, spend their gold, manage their side waves, and have a 2k gold lead. 1.5k gold lead for now. Heading into the 20-minute mark.
Man, Skarner's fast, but Paranoia is just that much faster. It's a press R and you just go. And that was just what really started off that fight for them. I mean, they just charged straight onto 3's mark there, forced to burn summoners to try and escape the Nocturne, and then just had nothing left once Triple Q realized that he could just throw him straight into that newly created wall from the Earth Drake. Nar gonna be happy with the map state that was created off the back of the Soul. So good opportunities here for them, but also need to be worried about the Ziggs and those small choke points as well.
Yeah, I really wish we could see how much damage Quartz Hill did there. I mean, compare it to Booty Bang and Billy, who did 0 because he didn't show up in time, unfortunately, for CB Clockwork. They just have to be aware that if they're going to dive, Billy needs to be there in time and ready to be paired with the dive, because the Viego going in, getting resets is so important. It changes the entire dynamic of the team fight. He's so hard to kill once one reset happens because of the extra sustain, because of the invulnerability. Timer is just so hard to deal with a Viego. And I think it changes the complexion of that entire fight for Clockwork. Unfortunately, he wasn't there and just a little bit too eager from Anderson Cooper.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think one interesting dynamic here with the Viego is when you play into a really unique mechanical champion that has like a funky minigame like Draven, it's like when you see the Draven go down, you're thinking like, okay, he's got really good items, but can I actually catch axes? You just gotta think to yourself, like, can I actually play this champion? Champion's like Aurelion Soul could also make that a little bit more complex. So I imagine you'll end up taking the reset basically no matter what, but I always think it's funny if there's any kind of contemplation in a Viego player's head when they see like a really hard champion go down in a team fight.
Oh no, I can guarantee you, I've heard my own jungler on Lotus White, Smart Pants, he says he's playing Viego. I've never played this champ, I don't know, I'm just pressing buttons. So I guarantee you that goes through the thought of a lot of Viego players. It's a good call there. Everyone knows how to catch axes. I think a lot of the champions on the side of Classic Esports aren't incredibly complicated. Maybe he's never played Seraphine before, but I actually wonder, would the passive even apply? Like, would you get a double passive if you steal the Seraphine? I don't think it would.
I'm not exactly sure. All the new champions and the way they interact is still something I'm trying to learn myself as Blitty Wolves.
Yeah.
Look for a fight here, not gonna find the face breaker.
Yeah, and actually, he's going the mathematically correct set build here.
Yes.
With the stride boundary changes. Oh, but here comes nice and Bill.
Caught mid hop, also gonna get showstopper backward triple Q with nothing left in the tank. Should be going down here. Might be able to get Mega off in time. We'll throw in the wall. We'll find the Gnar. We'll find the Rock. Will that slow be just enough? The creep block is actually insane here. Flaydon not able to step forward. Wolves on the flank here. Gonna find. Not finding the impale. They're not even finding the kill, and it's on the other side of the map. Like you said, it's a Baron call here. Dory K on this Baron, trying to get it down. There is a Ziggs in the wings. Court Hill might have the damage to poke him off this. There is still Threes Mark, and of course, Abelama waiting just in the bushes for the moment to strike. They have vision of this. They haven't cleared this one out. Now looking for the TP. It's at 2k HP. Can they find the burn? Megan Fernabum will not find it. Baron will go over to the Nocturne Smite. Paranoia has been popped, and now here in the middle of the pit, Diego has gone down early. No resets will be had. Threes Mark charging forward will find some more cash for himself on the Draven. And really, I couldn't tell you who came out on top of that fight, but Baron ultimately going over to CB Clockwork, and it's a few cleanup kills here for Classic Esports.
Yeah, I think if they pulled off the Gnar gank a little bit earlier and had Bleeding Wolf CP up there, they would have just straight up won that fight and taken the Baron for themselves, Classic Esports. Instead, they get two. I think it's better for Clockwork immediately, but with the tempo, Classic can possibly take a couple turrets, and they're going to make their way down to this next Mountain Drake. It'll put them on soul point if they're able to secure the third Drake here. 20 seconds until it's up. We'll see if Clockwork can fix their waves here with Quartz Hill just barreling down the top lane. A Satchel, I'm sure, is going to come out here soon. There it is, taking down the turret so fast, but he is now a little bit in danger. Yeah, he'll sneak out of here.
Yeah, he's got Satchel Charge, he's got slows and zoning tools and stuff. Ziggs will be A-okay in the top lane, at least for now. But again, like I said, Dragon on the map might just be contested here as only 4 members down towards this bottom lane. Doesn't look like they want any of this. Teleport now being channeled. It's a little bit late of a call here, but will they continue the fight? Gnar jumping on in with that Mega, going on to Threes Mark. Can they find a stun to get him? They pull off the Gnar into the wall onto 3. That is exactly what you need, and it's Booty Bang and Billy on the Draven. Can he catch the axes as Bleeding Wolf taken on 4 by himself? Can't find any kills though. Now can he the chase? Looking to find something here. Booty Bang and Billy still wants to get on forward here. So Mega Death Racket will find one. Dory K finds Alvi Llama there in the middle, or in the back of the team fight. Finally picking up one more kill there on the Jinx, and despite being a little bit late to the Dragon, they'll find the fight. But now what can they get off the back of this? Not too many waves in the right spot. Should be able to pick off mid tower. But really, I mean, great and phenomenal fight there by Triple Keep finding that Mega Gnar.
Yeah, let's take a look at how that happened again. The Baron goes over to Clockwork and they lose 2. Instead, they turn the tides. They're going to give up the third Drake here, and the catch on Threes Mark. Like you said, there was kind of a miscommunication on what the call was for Classic Esports. Mega Inferno Bomb is going to come in here, but it doesn't do enough. And Threes Mark just stepped up too far. He even flashed backwards into the pit instead of towards his own team. Just a little bit mispositioned there, and he was able to be caught out. Triple Q doing so much work in the team fights to find that Draven, locate him, throw him into all of Clockwork, and the rest of these guys, Anderson Cooper, Booterbang, and Billy, able to just jump onto that Draven without any peel by himself, completely obliterated at that point. Classic have such a hard time winning the team fight.
If you're Classic Esports, you gotta be careful. Draven does eventually get outscaled by this Jinx. You have to keep up this snowball, and they're just finding him in these fights. It's really all Triple Q. Finding these crazy Mega Gnars, making sure Threes Mark is caught up and tied up within some form of CC, and then just comboing on forward. So Threes Mark either needs to play a little more carefully, find the right positioning, making sure he's not close to any walls. But again, Mountain Soul on the map, that's not really a safe place to stand.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, like you said, the Jinx will start scaling. She is 2 items right now. I mean, Dory K now, he's on the board, got that first snipe kill on Abby. So he's feeling a little bit better now, and pretty soon, even just with Kraken Hurricane, Jinx is going to start doing damage. Like, it's going to come online. We are a little bit late in the game to reach 2 items, but oh my god, you're caught.
Paranoia once again. You have no form of escape. Satchel Charge gonna do nothing here to Nocturne as he will spell shield through that one. Now looking for some retaliation here. Can they find it? Finding Slow and Forgotten Turtle flashing forward for the stun. Encore to follow this one up. But can they get? They find the impale on the backline as well. Anderson Cooper getting pulled back in. Now getting the target of all the damage here, but might just be able to escape. Got the movement speed, and despite a great engagement there from the Skarner, not going to find too much else.
Yeah, and Jinx is just in the mid lane by himself. Dory K didn't even bother coming down to that team fight. I think Clockwork are lucky to have only lost one there. Dory K still in the mid lane. He'll be likely able to push this turret, but let's take a look at that fight once again. I mean, this is after they had already secured that first kill. This TP just not going to do anything. Booty Bang and Billy trying to help his team, but I mean, like you see, so Forgotten Turtle's already gone. They've utilized all of their CC to make that pick happen. Just a late TP, a late call. And instead, Clockwork, when they had that pick on the Ziggs, just overstepped their welcome and kind of gave one back.
Yeah, and despite that one being a decent impale here so far from Flaydon, I haven't seen what I want to from this Skarner, which is, like you mentioned earlier, playing toward these side lanes, making sure you're finding someone out who's just, you know, a little bit too far, finding the impale and dragging them back to your laner who can deal the damage. I feel like most of these impales are being utilized at just kind of odd times in the middle of team fights, not really being used to peel a dive, not really being in the right place at the right time. But I'm looking forward to what the Skarner pick can do, because I know that if this dive just come through and they can just find the impale onto that either the Gnar, you know, Booty Bang and Billy or Anderson Cooper, they can just turn around a team fight super quickly, play front to back with how far ahead 3's mark is right now, you know, almost a full item up on this Jinx. It's just, I just haven't seen it happen yet. And so I'm really looking towards Flaydon to find the right target and at the right time in these team fights.
He's gonna need to. Draven is making his way towards a Bloodthirster now, so he will just be so hard to burst. Like, you have to absolutely just completely one-shot him, otherwise he'll be able to sustain with Shield Bow and Bloodthirster. I'm going for that full sustain build here on 3's mark. Here comes Drake in 20 seconds. CB Clockwork know that that is the major objective, but they also know that Baron is on the map and live in 2 seconds. They're gonna check that, but oh my goodness, here we go.
And a great lockdown here from the Skarner will find Anderson Cooper as the Mega Inferno Bomb picks him up. Now Tunar knocked in the ball by the Mega Gnar. Triple Q finding 2. Great Encore lands on 2 as well. Showstopper comes from Bleeding Wolves on the backside. Dory K trying to find some damage, but just can't do it to Bleeding Wolves as he finds the Haymaker. Portal on the backside, not able to find Dory K as he speeds on through the team fight, getting excited. Now Quartz will be the target, also going down there to Booty Bang and Billy, and it's disaster here for Classic Esports around the Baron.
Yeah, they just weren't united in what they wanted to do. They were like, oh my goodness, we're going to get this pick. They're going to face check the Baron, guys. But they only had 3 of them there, and they impale the Nocturne. They kind of just stand still. You saw Seraphine coming extremely late to that team fight. Classic worked all together. And we're going to take a look at it again here. Check it out. So, okay, I think we're in the wrong replay here. That's okay. We saw that one earlier. That Baron fight, though, it's going to lead to a free Drake. They're going to get the inhibitor you see now on the main screen. So they'll have that pressure. They can get that 5th Drake here. Make sure that they don't give over the soul. For now, it's going to be another 5 minutes before Classic have another shot at this. And they likely have really good positioning to try and pressure this Baron. But you see Classic Esports, they're all bolting for it right now. Knowing the reset timers, at least for a few of them, are going to go back to base. Are they going to start this?
Just might be able to go for this one, as trying to get on towards this one. Flaydon going to start up this Baron. It's a TP from the Gnar here. Triple Q looking to get in towards this pit and close on. And if it's a Viego in bottom lane, though, this one's going to be a 4v5 as Ziggs will be moving back towards the base. It will actually be a 4v4, has teleport available. But will the Paranoia come through? He's going to start out here. And you need to pop that spell shield before he can go over. Anderson Cooper just flashing his pit. They didn't have vision. They didn't know how low it was. Abilama now getting tagged up and just getting every bit of CC pushed on him. Anderson Cooper gets just brutalized there. The Dragon Pit. Showstopper impaled Encore. And now as a jungler down, they're going to continue onto this Baron. Triple Q, nowhere close to Mega. Can't really farm it up before this fight happens. This Forgotten Turtle on the backside trying to find some poke here. Dory K might just be the hero they need here with the Mega Inferno, or with the Super Mega Death Rocket. 1000 HP. Can they find the smite? They will. 400 HP will be the call. Blue team will secure the Baron in Classic Esports. Ultimately, I would say, emerge victorious.
Yeah, they have no business securing that Baron. Just complete misplay. I guess the wards weren't up for Forgotten Turtle. No one had any vision. You don't see a blue trinket. I mean, like, look at all the trinkets just here from CB Clockwork. They didn't have anything up. They didn't have their resources available. And so that was a panic play from Anderson Cooper. You got to have at least Triple Q with Mega Gnar enter first. You can't be flashing into the pit with that Paranoia. They were so They didn't do any damage to the Baron when he went in, and that was a pretty cool interaction between the Showstopper and the Impale. I did like that. They knew if they took out the jungler, they had a good shot at securing that Baron, so they dropped all their CC. If I'm Clockwork and I see Impale, Showstopper, and Encore all used, I still take that fight. You had Booty Bang and Billy waiting in base with teleport available, but they decided just to hold off for now, not confident in their team fight because they knew Quartz Hill could also teleport in, and now it's a tense situation. We're tied in kills. We're very close in gold. CB Clockwork with an almost negligible gold lead at this point. Drakes are 3-2. This game could not be any closer with the playoffs on the line so open. Both these squads trying their hardest here, and here comes a little bit of a mini ARAM. They're gonna fight again.
They gotta find the Paranoia onto the Skarner, but it gets pulled on out of it. Encore onto 3. It'll be a great start to this fight. And a massive Mega Inferno Bomb does so much damage. 3's Mark now gonna be able to push on forward. But Bang and Billy can't find the damage here on the Flaton, just doesn't have it. And it's a set in the top lane. They aren't even.
It was a 4v5.
Yeah, it was a 4 versus 5. Set's not even in this fight, and they're going to continue the chase. They're trying to stop these back timers as Quartz Hill will TP to the top lane. They'll find the inhib. Now looking at the Nexus towers, Flaton still stopping the backs here, and they're on the Nexus towers. One will go down. Satchel charge so quickly at taking these out, and just like that, Classic Esports is trying to flip this game completely around. Quartz Hill, now the target of the Jinx, will be taken out just a little bit. And actually finding Bleeding Wolves there under tower, not being able to find the Showstopper. Is Flaton looking the closest one out right now. 3's Mark wants it all, but he gets exhausted. Just has a life steal to be able to get through this one, but finds the double kill. And through the heal, he's still alive. Now onto the Nexus towers. This has got to be it. Triple Q, can you find the fight against 4? Flaton zoning him off completely as the Nexus tower falls. Inhib down. This has got to be the Nexus shutdown going over to the Skarner again. Flaton claims them all, and he claims the Nexus. Classic Esports finds their first win, and that is what they need if they want to continue on towards this playoff spot.
They're one step closer. Absolutely ridiculous ending to an incredibly close game between these two squads. Now the question is going to be, do CB Clockwork go into game 2 with the same lineup? Dory K swapping over to AD carry for game 1. He was the second all-team all-pro support. What's going on there? We'll see if Clockwork stay with this set lineup. They could probably run it back, do a little bit better than they did in game 1 for sure. We'll see what happens, though. I'm going to be excited to check it out. We're going to toss you guys over back to Necrox and Camcom to break it all down.
My eyes, Capcom, they're burning after that game. That one was a spectacle to watch for sure. Dory, may I suggest support? It's a pretty good role. Don't have to beat 3's Mark in lane, and you kind of just sit there and shield your AD carry. It's pretty good. The role swap did not work out.
No, I really don't think it did. With the Draven getting, I do believe, 6 kills before 10 minutes. Almost 1 kill every other minute there. It's just, that's not what you want for a Draven.
Yeah, and I mean, cashing in stacks with First Blood as well. Draven is that kind of champ. You give an early advantage, he will absolutely run with it. You pick the Karma, you don't dominate lane with it because you're already playing into the Draven. And yeah, look at the gold differential. 5,000 gold difference between these two AD carries. The rest is not as bad. Triple, though, is the other member for CB Clockwork that I think really came in massive. Bleeding trying his hardest to dunk back this massive Gnar into the team, but it's just not enough in the end. Triple just was a massive, huge Gnar ultis across the board. And yeah, I mean, it's just not enough. Bleeding didn't need to do anything other than just sit there in frontline for his team, and 3's Mark cleaned up the job.
Yeah, like you're saying, Triple and Anderson, their top side there for CB Clockwork, had a really strong early game by all means. If there was not like a 10-0 Draven by 15 minutes, I do think they would have definitely been able to take that one. But still, Triple finding those super clutch Gnar ultimates in every single fight, and as well as Anderson Cooper finding all those picks that they did need to try and bring the game back. It was just not enough as 3's Mark, just absolutely huge.
And it's his Draven, right? When we played against him, we banned it. It's not something we want to have to deal with. You really can't win lane into Draven. The only other champions that can beat Draven, Kalista and Misfortune, don't particularly have good matchups. Misfortune is just pretty bad right now. Kalista gets slowed by the E, so can't really do anything about that one. And then outside of that, there's nothing that beats a Draven in lane. So you have to concede your lane threat. You have to then concede bot lane priority for dragons, unless you just want to go something wave clear oriented, like a Sivir or a Xayah. But Not sure Dory's comfortable on any of those. Instead, they end up losing out big time in the bot lane, and their team pays the price. I'm hoping to see Dory go back to support. I think he has accelerated his performance in late league as support. They're not locked playoffs, so I don't know if this was a specific strategy for this matchup, but regardless, hoping things are very different for Clockwork in this upcoming game.
And well, this is definitely a very good start for Classic Esports in this Block 3, though, as all they need is 2 wins to be able to have not a confirmed spot, but definitely a certain ability to have a spot in playoffs. And if they do 3-0 tonight, then that's 100% playoffs for them. So if Dory does stay ADC, and if Classic does keep finding these really strong wins through the bot lane, then this is definitely going to spell very well for them for their run in playoffs.
And you got to figure out how to stem the bleeding in bot lane, whether it is roll swap, whatever, jungle intervention. Just need to find a way to not get 2v2 killed. And honestly, their team fight actually looked pretty good. There was a couple points in that game where I was watching and I was thinking, okay, there's probably a point in this game where Classic are going to throw, and they absolutely did in a couple instances. But in the end, just can't beat Three's mark on his Draven. Really have to take that one away. The Viego, I think, really came up short as well. A couple times resets came through. They win team fights. But if he gets picked off, if he's the one dying first because he builds Blade of the Ruined King first item and he's like 0 extra HP, you just die. You're not impactful in team fights. So I'm thinking things are going to look very different. At least I'm hoping. But on the other side, you're absolutely right. Classic. Great start to the 3 block. Don't think they need to change much. And if they continue to apply the pressure in bot lane, I'm not sure that Dory and Turtle have an answer. We'll wait to see.
I mean, I would definitely think the best answer would be banning that Draven in Games 2 and Game 3. They can't play against it, apparently, as we got to see in Game 1, as Jinx and a Karma shouldn't have that hard of a time, and if they do, then they should be able to eventually outscale, and having as many good team fights as they did, and then just not even getting the chance to really find that scaling point that you need on your Jinx is just definitely telling that maybe a Draven ban is in order for these games.
Yeah, and there was a couple times as well, Dory was like snaking his way through team fights, barely keeping himself alive, but he's not doing max DPS that way. If you're flashing away from the threats, if you're having to go back and run back to your Karma for shielding, you're not laying out constant damage. And especially when you're point blank range like that, when you're trying to really maneuver your way through team fights, the rocket doesn't get a lot of value from the ulti. So I'm not sure. I genuinely think that the roll swap may have just been a for fun strategy. If not, maybe there was something specific they wanted, but they had to have had it in this game, and it just didn't work out. The only other point that I'll say before we hopefully get into Game 2 draft is topside. I think Bleedin got ganked a whole hell of a lot that game, and he didn't die a whole hell of a lot, to be honest. A couple times where he just walked away, dunking back as well with the set ulti gets you a lot of gap between you and the enemy top laner if you're ulting the Nocturne. So Bleedin, if he continues to stay alive on topside and his bot lane just carries the way they did, I don't know where the angle is for CB Clockwork to attack this early game and get some sort of a lead.
Yes. Just one of those champions that shouldn't really be dying to ganks, like you're saying, is he's such a safe champion. You don't have to be underneath the enemy tower to have pressure in that lane. It's just as you're slowly scaling up, you don't really ever lose a 2v2 with most junglers just because of how much tankiness he does have, especially with that W and that E just having a lot of disengage as well as engage for those team fights, which Bleeding Wolves was definitely able to find. But again, against Triple on that Gnar, very hard to find anything.
Yeah, it's really hard to win that lane. You're set. You can't even go Stride Break anymore to gap close. The Stride Breaker isn't a 300 unit dash. It's just a circle slow around you. So the initial gap closer is as good as it gets. You have the Q for move speed, Face Breaker if you're in range. If not, you're just going to get harassed. So good job Bleeding up there in the top lane, making that one look not terrible. The only other matchup that I was really interested in was the mid lane. Thought we were going to get Nocturne solo lane. Ended up not being the case. Quartz, couple questionable TPs on the Ziggs, couple questionable ultis, but in the end, that mid-game team fight